Hello, I'm here to talk you through how quoting and pricing is going to work at Gravitate. We're really open with our pricing, so you'll see it's impossible for me to say, oh, this is what we would quote you, because you need to tell us exactly the services you need, but we've tried to do the best we can with our pricing page on our website, so feel free to check that out. But also, like you say, we're always happy to go through this quoting process in full so you can see the full menu of services we offer and exactly what we think are going to benefit you. One of the key gripes we have is charging by the hour and charging every time you pick up the phone. That's not how we operate at Gravitate. You'll see through this process that we try and agree a nice retainer model where you pay a fixed monthly fee, but we actually encourage you to have contact with us because we know the more contact you have with us, the more we can support you. So the start point is we will typically reach out for some information from you to understand the background of your business. The more information we can gather at this point, the better we can prepare for the call. So we'll be asking things like the turnover of the business, the company name, best contact, services that you currently have, additional services you require, and sometimes we even ask for a budget as well, just to give us an idea of what the expectation is from yourselves, from the services. And again, all this information allows us to prepare a quote in the first instance. Then we would typically either have a meeting online or we'll have a meeting in person where we will show you our quoting software. So we use a tool called Go Proposal. The real benefit of this is it allows us to quote all our clients on a consistent basis across whoever is quoting them. We've got over 10 people in the firm who can quote using this software. And like you say, the key for us is consistency. We know issues in the industry where if you got one quote from one person, it could be vastly different to another individual. So for us, it's all about having open, clear and transparent pricing. So what we'd typically have done is use some of the information you provided upfront to pre-populate the quote, just so, like you say, we've got some information in there. Things like if you have got payroll, the number of employees, the number of self-assessment tax returns you've got to do for your business, and key things like that. So it just makes sure we're not spending the start of the meeting trying to catch up, but we would then take you through the quote step by step, because one of the really important things is although you might not need some of the services straight away, it gives you a really good idea of the full spectrum of services we do offer. So further down the line, as your business scales and grows, or as there's changes within your business, then you know that those services are there to be tapped into and added on or taken off your monthly invoice. So our services are broken down into a few key sections. So the first one is advisory. So this is the services we love to deliver. The Gravitate was set up to offer hands-on advice to support businesses to help them scale. Our vision statement is you know the numbers that will shape your future. Looking at the advisory piece, things like management accounts, budgets and forecasts, these really help you be in a position to fulfill that vision and mission that we've got for the business. So as mentioned, included within the advisory service line are things like catch-ups. So we believe as a business you should be having regular catch-ups with your accountants. So allowing meetings either once a month or once a quarter just adds those touch points through the year. So we're keeping in contact and we can add value to support you in your business. We also have a number of tax planning reviews, so one being remuneration, so planning how you extract that business money from your business, and the second being pre-end tax planning review where we sit down and say, look, it's a couple of months before the year end, what can we do now that will reduce or better that tax position at the end of the year? And as well as the budgeting and forecasting and management accounts we talked about, those are two other key services in this area. We also do outsourced finance director work or finance controller, where you say to us, look, I just need support. I don't need a specific service. I just need someone to come and help and be my right-hand man or lady and support my business. And that's, again, covered in our advisory piece of work. Another key service we offer is our bookkeeping support. So if you just say to us, look, I'm running this business and I'm trying to do everything, it's sometimes not efficient for you to do so. So we offer an outsourced bookkeeping facility where we can do the bookkeeping on your behalf, allow you to focus on running the business. The bookkeeping service is priced largely on transaction levels. So again, we're not going to charge you per hour because it depends how efficient we are at doing that work. But by charging you based on level of transactions, you know exactly what you're paying for. So as you can see, here's Go Proposal, and here are the options, and you're just selecting the services that you require for your business right now. And we even have the option of hitting the love heart to say, look, that's not right for me right now, but I might need that further down the line. So let's just add it on there so I know the pricing. The next key section is the accounting services. So these tend to be the things you are required to have in place to remain compliant. So we've got year-end accounts, we've got corporation tax return, VAT returns, personal tax returns, and company secretarial, plus a raft of other services. And all these tend to be priced based on the size of your business. So the larger the businesses we work with, typically there's going to be more work involved, so that will drive the price. In certain circumstances, the price doesn't always correlate to the size of the turnover, so we do have other metrics for quoting certain businesses. On top of that, we have additional other services, things like payroll, tax return, very specific support, corporate finance and tax. And like you say, all of this we can go through the menu and you can identify the problems you've got and how we can solve it. So as you can see, once you've selected the services you require, and we've filled in the information like the turnover, VAT quarters and things like that, it kicks out a monthly quote. Key thing with Gravitate is once you've got that quote, that is the fee you pay on a monthly basis. You won't get any ad hoc fees from us, because again, that's another problem in our industry where people receive ad hoc bills and they don't know why they've got it or what the reason. So our process is very much, if there's any work that falls outside of the scope of what's in our quote, we will always say to you, look, we can do these ad hoc tasks to support you, but anything that is quite significant is going to take a large proportion of our time. We are going to have to either give you the advice to do it yourself, or we give you a one-off quote to do that piece of work essentially. And so the key benefit there is you know what your monthly cost is going to be, but we also really advise you to keep in contact with us. So whether we've got a WhatsApp that goes directly to the team you're working with, we use Teams, email, or we love telephone calls and just picking up the phone. So whichever of those best suits you, we will actively encourage you to be in contact with us. And like I say, you're not going to be charged for every minute you're on the phone with us, because again, that's another problem in our industry. Instead, we're going to listen to you, support you. If there's quick fixes, we'll get on and get it done. But if it falls out the scope of the work, then we will quote you as mentioned before. So we'll also typically have some one-off costs included. One of the main ones is an alignment fee. So how it works is because we bill monthly for the work we've done. So for example, if you think about annual accounts, it's just the annual accounts fee divided by 12 billed each month. So if you started joining us in month 7, so you wouldn't have paid us month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for that annual fee of accounts. And so if we just carried on that basis, you wouldn't have paid for that full service in the year. So what we do is we have a one-off alignment fee that's charged at the start, and like I say, it's very clear. And then, like I say, all the one-off fees are agreed up front. The one-off, they won't happen again, but then, like I say, it gets you aligned, ready to go with the monthly fee going forward with no ad hoc billing. Other one-off fees that sometimes occur are things like if you ask us to set up a new limited company, or if you want to register you for pay-as-you-earn, or anything like that, then like I say, that would be a one-off fee that would put in place at the start, and then like I say, the monthly fee would carry on going forward after that. So we've been through all the quote, we've pulled all the information together, you know exactly how we're going to price your work. So what we'll leave you with after the meeting, we'll send you the quote, you'll get it there and then at the end of the meeting, unless there's a few quirks that we needed to iron out. And you'd receive a full proposal document with all that information in, and you're ready to click a button and get going with us straight away if you're happy and we agree all the stages during the meeting. The quote has literally all the information you could need in there, from references from clients to the services offered, a breakdown of the services offered. It also has a nice app diagram which shows how all the apps integrate with each other. And this is a key thing for Gravitate. We use the accounting software just as a start point. We want to make sure your expenses app, your billing, is all feeding into that account software and your CRM to try and make your life as simple as possible. So things like the app directory is pretty key. Hopefully you're now in a position where you're encouraged and understand how Gravitate quote for services and are ready for a conversation with us. So yeah, book in a meeting and we can take you through this full bespoke detailed process designed around your business but consistent with all our current client base. Thank you.